Hello. Hello, can you guys hear me? Chandri, are you there?
Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Hello.
This is Robin from PALS.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Fine, sir. I will make you co-host.
Okay, and I'll try to share my screen. And
Sure. I'll do that. Yes, sir. It is done.
Okay. And I'm going to.
Now you want to share your screen just for testing?
Yeah.
Can I stop sharing?
Yeah.
Sure. Yes. Yes. Yes, we can able to see.
Okay. You're able to see the screen?
Yes. AI in healthcare post-pandemic projections.
Okay. I'm on the end of the show.
Some simulation is running.
Right.
Temperature or something. COVID
right.
scholar.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I will. The thing is, when I put it on PowerPoint demo mode, I'm not able to see the Zoom screens. Oops.
Robin sir, CNC sir can be co-host. I suppose to log in.
Yes, I will do that.
As well as students team from KPRIT, one student Dharmaratan can be also co-host.
I will do it.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, for some reason, I'm not able to see. I lost track of where the.
We can able to see your screen.
Okay, are you also
yes.
See my face also?
Yes, very clear.
All right, I won't mess with it. I'm not able to see any of the participants on my screen.
Okay. I think you can see in the participants.
I'm not seeing the Zoom. I'm not seeing the Zoom screen. I'm on a Mac, and for some reason.
Oh, okay. But around the 25 participants have logged in.
Okay.
Hello, Jagannathan. I'm Anuradha.
Anuradha Ramanujan.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. There's an option called speaker view and gallery view. Are you able to see something?
I seem to have lost track of where Zoom is.
Yeah.
Hi, Anu.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hi, Jaggi.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay. For some time, we'll be on video. Switch off.
Yeah.
Hello, CNC sir. How are you? This is Robin.
Hello, Robin. How are you?
Fine, sir.
Okay, I finally figured out what it is.
Hi, Chandri. How are you?
Hey, Shekhar. Hi.
Another speaker, right? Okay. Hi,
yeah. Shekhar here.
Hi.
I think good Shekhar, you found some time to join this. This is a bridge. This is a bridge session for you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jackie, remember Shekhar? Is
Um,
Narmada Civil? Yeah.
oh,
Jaggi, you may not know, but yeah, Narmada.
No, you're the bridge gang. Are you part of the bridge gang?
No, real
Not
bridge,
really.
real bridges.
Oh, real bridge. Okay.
Yeah, you
Concrete.
guys play bridge. I play with the bridge.
Okay, the concrete bridge. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll stop my video now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
While presenting, maybe I'll also stop the video. To preserve the bandwidth.
No, it's okay. Your video will come like a picture in picture in the corner. So you don't have to stop your video exactly.
Yeah.
And you can share and we can try something like try sharing your video and we'll see whether it is.
No. Yeah, the video is. Let me just share my.
Or shall I ask the PMO to share the screen and you can say next or give a lead so that they can change it?
No, I don't want that because I have embedded video.
Okay.
It works out better.
Okay.
So now I have the screen.
Yeah. I've got the baby and AI in healthcare post-pandemic prevention.
Okay.
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah.
Okay, all set. Okay, maybe I will also play the video in video.
Yeah,
see
try.
Yeah.
Good idea. Video.
Okay, let's see. Is the video coming through?
Yes. I have another additional monitor on which I'm watching it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so it's coming through, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Home hospitalization kit. Okay.
All right.
I'm on video so that if you have audio is not working, we can use sign language.
All right.
All of us are planning to be awake and fully awake.
Well, I guess I have no choice but to be awake, but it is only about 10 o'clock in the morning there, so I have no excuse.
Yeah. No, but India people can sleep, but don't snore. And keeping it.
No, muted.
They're going to
stay muted. Stay muted.
I can guarantee you, I can put you to sleep. You don't
no,
have to
I don't want that. I don't want that.
I will just drone on and on and on. And I thought I'm going to try and I got a lot of slides. I don't know if I'll. I think what I will try to do is cover everything in about 55 minutes, and then open up for questions for the next 15-20 minutes, or however much time you have.
We are going to have 3 teams presenting their questions. So what we thought was if we open the floor for questions and we may not have time for those 3 teams to ask their questions. So you were wondering whether we can have your talk followed by the 3 deep dive sessions and 3 different topics, and then and parallelly ask for questions in the chat box, which we can see when the other presentations are going on, and then we can consolidate and do that, so that we will not overshoot our time. Is what we thought.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Whatever works.
Yeah.
The only thing I was worried about is if I've noticed that if we allow for questions during the presentation,
no, we don't know how long we will go on for. Yeah.
Right. It'll invariably one question leads to another, and then I may not have time to cover the material.
When we go for live sessions, it's a real challenge to make people open up with their questions. So that's why we thought of an interactive session this time in a pre-programmed way. Like we asked teams to prepare for questions in different topics. So we expect more sensible questions to be coming out and without prompting. And then probably it will spawn more questions from, because people will be more agile by the time they.
I misunderstood the intent of those three. I provided 3 questions,
Oh,
but that was mostly to kindle their curiosity that they are to see what's out there. I'm not necessarily experts in those areas. I thought these
that's
are
okay.
engineering students. Engineering
That's okay.
students.
At least we'll make them talk. So
Right. That's fine. I'm not. I'm actually curious to see what they came up
how
with.
it works. Like, this is the first time we are trying out this particular format, so we'd like to understand how it works, and
Okay.
a lot of
That's good.
enthusiasm, and they may call their friends in, and all the
Great.
additional benefits of the same.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And by the way, thank you for offering me this opportunity. And of course,
Yeah, honored. We are honored to have you here. So,
I didn't realize that IIT Madras is heavily involved in all of these wonderful things, but glad to be of help.
yeah, nice. There have been really good number of participation registrations happening. So we'd like to see how it goes with respect to attendance. So that's the next thing. And involvement, of course, we are forcing them to present. And,
So how many engineering students? How many engineering students are there in Chennai to whom this is available?
not only in Chennai, we have extended. In fact, the 2 colleges that are coming in today to host this are from Tiruchengodu and Kovai.
Okay.
KSRCT is a very big college with a lot of legacy and in that area. So, and it is, the campus actually consists of about 23 colleges for different disciplines. It's almost like a big university when you walk into that place, and it's a legacy so far as Tiruchengodu goes. KPR-IET is relatively a new college. They joined us only last year, and they're about 10 years old. But then they have all the advantage of being a latecomer, of understanding the landscape much better, and then doing things faster. So they are a young college, a very vibrant college, KPR-IET. Hi Mohan, PVM. Hi PVM.
Hi Anu, and hi Jaggi. Welcome to the session.
Thank you.
This is PV Mohan here. We have been communicating, but we are probably meeting for the first time in person. Lovely to see you. Hello CNC.
Hi PM. Hi.
Good to see you in our live session after a long time.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think somebody's asking the participants to rename their thing with college tag and all that. Hope participants are seeing that message.
Robin,
and
can you start announcing, please? Robin? Jaggi, I think you are still sharing your screen, so you can probably stop sharing. I'm seeing your screen as well. Yeah.
So Jaggi, I'm sure that Anu has explained to you that what we have started off today in this session is a little experimental, in the sense that previously we just used to have these one-to-one discussion sessions. But today, the first time we're trying an experiment where we are trying to involve some students also into the whole discussion. By asking them to research and present a topic, it creates a little bit more of interaction and involvement from the students. And
that sounds interesting. It's an interesting experiment. I hope it works out.
Yeah. So let's see. I think.
What's the time now?
It's 7:50. Another 10 minutes to start.
Sounds
good. 8 o'clock. Shall we start PVM? No.
Yeah, at 8 o'clock only you start announcing, and then, but you can tell people now to rename themselves.
Yeah, that is in the chat box they posted.
You can tell them as well. Some people may be just listening. So
okay.
How many registrations?
Dear participants, please change your Zoom name. That is your college short name, _name, _student or faculty. I repeat, so please change your Zoom display name. First your college short name, your name, _ if you are a student, make it as a student, or if you are a faculty, make it as a faculty. So it is in the chat box. Please see the chat box. Thank you.
Hi, Meenakshi ma'am is there, I think.
When my presentation is on, I won't be able to monitor any of this chat. You'll have to actually verbally communicate.
Yeah, that's fine. Arun Dev, you're on.
Hi, I'm there.
Yeah, Arun Dev will be prompting you if there are any immediate questions. So.
The thing is, once I put it on the slideshow mode, I'm unable to look at any of the Zoom.
Okay.
So you have to prompt me audio.
Sure, we will.
Fine, we'll do that, sir. Good evening. Good morning.
Good evening, Arun.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mohan.
Good evening, Faraz. Yeah.
We did one preparation session with the kids as well, with the MCs as well, and then now we are here.
I'm going to go ahead and start sharing the screen.
Hi, Arun Dev.
Hi, CNC.
Nice to see you.
Oh, yeah. We've hardly had these videos on in our discussions.
Yeah. There are only 4 who are watching via YouTube.
You can probably hold the fort at the YouTube end. And they have also renamed themselves.
I've got 13 here on YouTube, so it's okay.
13.
You know,
they will join later. They will.
Out of the 4, I am one of them, Arun.
No, I'm also there. So two are counting me and Mohan, and then 2 more.
And I'm also there, so.
Only one more.
Okay,
so doubling him.
So it's only the
counting.
PALS
No,
team
there's
which is
16 there. It's okay.
But I see some messages. I see some messages on YouTube.
Vivian sir, we could able to see 20 of them are watching over YouTube.
Yeah, I saw some messages actually. Some of them are messaging.
Oh, okay, very good.
No, they are saying they're putting their names and.
That's what I mean. I think they're putting their names to register themselves, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's very good. Otherwise, in YouTube, we can't make out.
Correct.
So I think everybody who's going on YouTube, they should actually send a text message to register themselves that they are there.
Yeah, they are doing that.
Hmm. Actually, I can get a lag, you know.
Yeah. Me too.
When you're speaking on Zoom, for that same audio to come on YouTube, it is taking a fraction of a second more.
Yeah. The top chat, 20 people.
You're all able to see my screen, right? The PowerPoint slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
We have Sneha and Suresh. Where are they?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Yeah. You're on. Your picture is there. Video is on. Not able to see your video, Suresh.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. Actually, my webcam is not working properly, ma'am. So I'm unable to on the video, ma'am.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay.
Stay has gone out. For a tea.
All the students have come. participating students?
They were there when I just started around 7:30. Around 18 were there, but I don't know their names. So.
Okay.
Robin, is Sneha in?
Yes, she's there.
Ask her to say hello. Unmute and say hello.
Sneha? Sneha, are you there?
She was there earlier, but now we couldn't find her name.
இல்ல host ன்னு போட்டிருக்க KPRIET host.
That is Suresh. Yeah, yeah.
Give a shout to her. We have 4 more minutes to go.
ASRCT underscore Sneha.
Yes, yes, she's there.
But that audio is not. Now it is there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Just be ready. Have your water bottle next to you.
The 2 MCs are ready, is it?
Yes.
Good.
And it works. Mute, unmute works.
What are the names of the MCs?
Sneha and Suresh.
Sneha and Suresh. Okay, great.
Robin, sir vandutara. Gopal Krishnan sir vandutara.
Yeah, I am trying his number.
And Akila?
அது அவங்க ரெண்டு பேரும் இப்பதான் கால் பண்ணேன் just now. I called. They will.
Because they have to start, no?
Are you sure want to end your skill?
What I suggest is let us wait till about 8:05 we can start there. Because I expect that there'll be an exponential rise in number of participants coming in just around 8 o'clock. So we can wait for few minutes after 8, then we can start.
We have few announcements for the participants. We request the attendees to turn off their video so that there won't be any trouble during the session. The attendees are asked to record their presence by texting their name, college, and designation in the chat box. It may be via Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom meeting. At the end of the session, there will be a feedback posted. So you are supposed to fill that also. This records your attendance and your participation certificate will be given on based on this. Each team will be given 15 minutes. So make sure you don't exceed that 15 minutes. Attendees and participants can shoot out the question in the chat box. Finally, the guest will be answering all those questions. So please don't unmute your mic so there won't be any trouble in the meeting going on. So please shoot down your questions in the chat box. Text your name, the department which you are from, the college, and your designation. Thank you.
Pravin sir, Madam Jain Pentan.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Robin, rename Madam's name, Dr. Akila.
Yeah.
Hi, hi.
Hi,
Anuradha
hi,
here.
ma'am.
Hi. And Gopalakrishnan. Gopalakrishnan sir join பண்ணிட்டாருங்களா? Robin?
He is yet to join.
Yet to join. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So how is KPRIT doing? Ma'am.
Ma'am, Sujata ma'am?
Anuradha.
Anu, sorry. Anu. Yeah, we are doing great, ma'am. I think that program was also very tough for our guys.
Oh, okay.
But they enjoyed. They told that they enjoyed.
Okay.
Which one? The virtual labs, is it?
Virtual labs.
Oh.
The cats and shares பண்ணாங்களே அவங்க. அதுதானே சொல்றீங்க?
Oh, the students.
Yeah,
Which one
the students challenge depressing
Correct.
COVID or expressive COVID, that one.
I know, but what was tough about that?
Oh, it was talked about, she said. Talked about. How is Usha, ma'am? Dr. Usha?
Dr. Usha has taken a break.
Yeah, I know she has taken a break.
She's in Salem and she's doing fine.
Okay.
And she comes for some online resource.
Oh, okay.
Online resource.
Everybody is becoming an online resource today, wherever you are.
Yeah, COVID-19 has made us.
Yeah, learn new tricks. That's all. Mr. Natarajan is there, going strong. Natarajan, your mentor.
பண்ணிட்டார். ஓகே. கோபாலகிருஷ்ணன் ஆர்னு வருது அதானே? ஓகே.
Probably should mute everybody who's not the host.
Yeah, please mute yourself, including me. We will give the baton.
Anu ma'am,
Yes.
Dr. Gopalakrishnan also joined.
Very nice. Can you?
Yeah, I have done it.
Label and co-host.
Yes. I have done
so
it.
that he can mute and unmute at his will.
Yes, I have done it.
Yeah.
Dr.
Okay.
Gopalakrishnan sir, welcome.
Yeah, welcome once again, and great to have you here.
Yeah.
Gopalakrishnan here. Good evening, all of you. Thanks.
Good evening.
Sir.
Good evening. Very nice. You could spend some.
Nice to meet you, sir. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Akila madam and other people. Good evening.
Yeah. Thank you. Right.
PVM sir, shall I start?
Yes.
Yeah, we have to wait for another 5 minutes, or?
No,
I think let's start.
Okay, fine.
People will join. Thank you.
Yeah, warm good evening to all. I am Robin from the PALS Program Management Office. First campus event, Acquire session on deep technology, hosted by ASRCT and KPRIET. I would request the MC of the day, Suresh and Sneha, to take care of the proceedings. Thank you. Over to you, Suresh and Sneha.
Guys, you can unmute yourself.
Sneha and Suresh.
Hello, yes, sir.
Yeah, you can.
Yes, ma'am.
Begin.
The world is full of diamonds and gems, and we are having some of them here today to build this event. With this note, I would like to give my hottest welcome to our chief guest, principal, faculty members, and students of various colleges. Welcome everyone. And next, I would like to welcome Dr. R. Gopalakrishnan, Principal of KSR City, to give the welcome note.
Good evening, all of you. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yes, sir. So good evening to all the dignitaries who joined in the virtual meet. So I'm really happy to be here for this PALS meet, particularly for in the evening. Probably I highlight one thing. Most of the times, the meetings would be in the day because the students and everybody. So now this COVID-19 made us to join even in the meetings at any time, because we have one more my colleague here, respected Akila Madam, principal of KPR Institute for Engineering and Technology, and all the PALS representatives. And here I thank the PALS management for giving this opportunity. I think we have a good number of students participant joined for this particular meeting. More than it's in a meeting, because the title itself, it says PALS always be unique. So here I take couple of minutes to welcome and to give some kind of insights why this type of programs, and particularly why we have to meet often. And the PALS, even last time when we had a kind of webinar, it was on the data analytics and all these things. So here very particularly I wanted to highlight certain things, particularly from the initiative of PALS, not only from the initiative of PALS. Some of the things are very, very need of the hour. So if you look at, the people call it as the disruptive or disruption. Okay, so COVID-19, most of us, we see it as a disruptive and a disruption, but it is a kind of a challenge. How we are converting the challenges into opportunities. That is what I am as a academician or a person looking in that particular perspective. So if you look at last 4 months, more than 4 months, in fact, from March 2020, 22, if I'm right, from there till now, lot of things every day, with a lot of kind of anticipation, so many interpretations, and so many things are not in our control, first of all, so that everybody will understand. So similarly, the career perspective of any student and the faculty, because PALS as a organization, it's give lot of insights on faculty and the students, and also it's connecting very well with the industry. That's one great advantage of PALS. And here again, this type of initiative connecting students and the faculty for this particular webinar, and this really a kind of great opportunity for us to enrich, and we also will be able to enhance the kind of technologies which is around us. So coming to know the challenges into opportunities. So here through the what I see as a challenge, some of the things, but I will not take it as a challenge. It's a kind of opportunity for young engineering candidates and the faculty people who are going to handle the sessions for the student fraternity. So my input to the student fraternity, very particularly, because we call them as a Gen Z, generation Z. So this generation, because more than any generation, they are the one who will be able to do things differently, and also they will be able to master in any of the aspects. So generally, people say you must have a kind of horizontal exposure and vertical expertise. So this generation is it probably they have a very good exposure in horizontally. There is no limit at all. But I request the people who are attending this webinar, so to have a kind of expertise in a few technologies or few domains for that matter. No matter you're from any department or any engineering domain, as far as your engineer is concerned. So how we will be able to expertise. There may be a kind of question. So is our curriculum will help us, or is the value added things will help us, or the kind of these kind of webinars will help us? Is everything will help you? And more than that, the kind of interest and the kind of your involvement in the activities. People say if anything, if you involve in for continuously 26 days, or it may be a 90 days, if you do that activity, probably after some time it will become as your character. So practice, from practice to habit, then it will become a character. So that's what I just wanted to highlight here. So this challenge, because why I want to mention about the 90 days, it will become a character. So here, how again another 90 days, no one will know that when the college will open and when the college will be resumed with the physical mode of classroom teaching. But till that, you have to be you have to balance, and you have to accept the things, accept the changes, and accept the challenge. Already we've been accepting, but more than that, because now for the first, second, third year, so most of from that particular category, so you have to be very capable of once you complete your engineering after 1 year or 2 years of time, when you go for for the career perspective, at that time you should not say I'm from this particular COVID batch, and because of that there is no excuse at all. So that's what the industry is all about. Because when you go into the industry, so you cannot go and say, so tomorrow I will complete and I need half an hour more time, and all these things will not be entertained in the industry. So as far as the industry is concerned, they want a person will be able to complete in quick manner, and also you'll be able to understand things very, very quickly and taking it forward easily. That's what any boss will be expecting from a new joinee or a kind of organization. In organization, that's what the process will be happening. So but here this last 4 months, the kind of challenges, so how we can able to how you'll be able to convert into a kind of opportunity. So many things. So now everything is available in the online. So my only strength, if you are available in online, so not only for me, a lot of the academicians and so many people, if they are in the online, they start how you'll be able to give a lot of inputs to our students. It may be in Twitter, it may be engineering aspects in the sense, even you see all the social media for connecting people. It's not only connecting people, lot of insights available in Twitter, a lot of insights available in LinkedIn, and a lot of insights available in your FB and all this stuff. So there engineering related things are available. So from that we tag it, and we also tap the information, and we wanted to share it to the faculty first, because that's where the intellectual so they are the people one who will be able to connect with the students often, and through them we will be able to do lot of wonders. So now PALS is supporting all these things. It is available as a ready-made aspect. So directly you'll be able to feed it to the students and the faculty members. Really thanks to the PALS team for arranging this type of kind of interactions with the students. Even I think 10 or 15 days before, I was part of the panel, because PALS was very concerned about the current situation, and it was the topic was taken was how the students will be able to overcome the challenges. What are the challenges students are facing? They may be rural or infrastructure aspect, psychological aspect. These things we had a discussion. Even Mohan sir aware. So these are the inputs. We regularly get it from with the support of a lot of people. When particularly PALS. So it's really remarkable one. I thank the PALS once again for giving me the opportunity. So finally, guys, so my point is very, very simple. Don't see this situation as a pandemic or challenges. Take it as an opportunity. Earlier people call it as a SWOT analysis. I never say SWOT analysis. It is a SWOT analysis. Strength, weakness, opportunity, and it's not a threat analysis. It is a challenge analysis. So any challenge, it should be seen as a opportunity. So I believe this Gen Z will see the challenge as an opportunity. So you'll be able to learn a lot of new technologies through online, even virtual labs. Again, that is another initiative of PALS. Now our faculty, already one batch has completed, and the second batch our faculty members are going to interact and learn, and that will be delivered to our student fraternity. So many things are there in the online virtual mode. So obviously the future is ours, no doubt about it. So thanks to the PALS team for giving me the opportunity. Over to MOC. Thank you. Stay safe and stay healthy. Over to MOC. Sorry, hope I'm audible.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. Thank you, Principal.
So thank you, sir. Now I would like to welcome Dr. M. Akila, Principal of KPR Institute of Engineering and Technology, to felicitate the gathering.
Yeah, good evening to everyone. It makes me glad and delightful to see all young minds here in spite of the time we have here in India. It's almost 8:50 now, and with profound thoughts and innovative spirit. Today, it's a red letter day for both KSR and KPR, and we have the pride in hosting the first event of our PALS campus acquire event on digital technology series. This is the very first series happening in the academic year organized by PALS team. I hope that everybody knows about PALS team now, and it's the Pan IIT Alumni Leadership Series, and it's an initiative of alumni from various IITs in the country. A year-long program for all the institutes in a great way. Whatever we think of doing in our institutes, our IIT, the PALS team is helping us in doing that. And the title which has been taken by the PALS team this time, AI, artificial intelligence, is highly suited to this discussion on ethical and social impacts of digital technology in the health sector. The promise of artificial intelligence to improve the outcome is very much intriguing. So we all know that this AI technology is under research in India. So it's the right time that our guest, Dr. V. Jagannathan, who is involved in research on AI and computer science for 3M Health Information Systems, would be a great inspiration for all of us. And as an AI researcher, no other person would be a better guest than him on this event of sharing and celebrating knowledge. So KPR IET is very much privileged to be the partner of PALS, and we take immense pleasure in having the event today. And on behalf of KPR IET management, on my own behalf, thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a few words on this great event. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to welcome K. Ramaswamy, PALS champion, to give a brief intro about PALS.
Thank you. Good evening. I am delighted to be with you. And my task has been made easy by Dr. Akila. Now she has read out everything. So I have very little to say of what PALS is, and also by the other principals. But however, it's very special for me today. Today I have my batchmate, Dr. Jaggi Jagannathan. So he is from the class of 77. And before I tell something more about this year's PALS, I would like to say that he is the sixth resource person from the batch of 77. The previous four of us from metallurgy, one from civil, and he is the first one in deep tech. So it's a dream come true. Back in 2018, I was trying to catch people when they came to India from the US. But now there's a premium, COVID has been a godsend. And then we have him today. And then, of course, now actually my thing was to say something about PALS. So now we have a lot of things in PALS. It's the only platform, unique, which addresses students, faculty, and management. And the purpose is to improve the engineering education in the colleges of Tamil Nadu, so that the students who come out are industry ready and with an attitude of lifelong learning in these days of rapid technological changes. And now the same thing applies to faculty. If they are, otherwise the students will get faster than them. So we are focused on the faculty as well. And so only I won't say much about the events that except that this year's events are virtual and the campus events Aspire, Acquire and T2P. We have 21 events planned for this year. And then student leadership program, that's been a great thing introduced by our Vice Chairman P.V. Mohan when he came in. We came in together in 2018 into PALS. So that's been a very good thing to spread the news. So the students themselves will say more. And this year we have the Innova in a virtual mode. And the PALS team has been working overtime to get all the programs for this year. And then for faculty, we have the FDP, TLC and RUTAG workshop. And V Labs has just started last week. It has been a roaring success. It's a totally new offering for the faculty. So to summarize, in fact, the way PALS has been doing the last 3 years, it is simply an Akshaya Patram, which the people ask this year, next year they get it. And it's an Akshaya Patram with multiple compartments. So you can put your hand in and get any dish. And if you ask for anything this year, you will get it next year. That's how professional the PALS people are. And now this year we are bringing you AI, but it is the host college privilege to introduce my batchmate Jaggi Jagannathan. But I would have the privilege of just saying a few things. That is a fully balanced person. And then in the subject, of course, which they'll tell about you. But apart from the deep technology and artificial intelligence and its application specifically in healthcare, is tennis, golf, and yoga. And he calls himself a nut, yoga nut. And then if you know what a nut means in IIT is, nut means you should understand people who are highly passionate, not only what they do in the academics. So if I go to the tennis court, that was my meditation center for the semester exams. So yes, it may be tennis, it may be anything, but you have to do it perfectly. That's right. And this year we have doubled up almost from 10 to 20 volunteers we have become. And all the respected people here, I consider them all far superior to me in experience. So that's how much your students are getting from PALS. It's for you to enjoy. And then one thing, my thought on the subject is that from a layman's perspective, artificial intelligence is, Lord Krishna. And so that Arjuna is, the confusions are cleared. And then his core strength of Arjuna, his knowledge and skill is directed correctly without bothering about so many things. So AI does to the doer what Krishna does to Arjuna. So those are my comments for today. And with that, I thank you for the opportunity, and the KPR IIT being the second year and in Powai, I am privileged to kickstart the whole thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's my pleasure to welcome Dr. V. Jagannathan, also called as Jaggi. He is an AI elevator. He is a researcher in artificial intelligence and computer science for 3M Health Information System, developing new natural language and deep learning technology that automatically structure patient and physician conversation into a clinical document. As an AI researcher with over 4 decades in the field, he has a 27 years of working experience in variety of industrial systems and has 16 years of experience in teaching. He is the founder of Carefree that was founded in 1996 with the technology from West Virginia University, and it was acquired by M Model in 2003. And he has been with the company ever since. He is also an adjunct professor teaching computer science and natural language at WVU. As Ramasamy sir said, he's really crazy about tennis, golf, and yoga. We would like to welcome Dr. Jagannathan to deliver his lecture. Now the platform is all yours, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. That was an incredible introduction, both from the principals of the colleges and my friends. Thank you, and I'm privileged to be part of this program, and hope I'm also privileged to kickstart this whole program for this year, and hopefully I can have you regaled for the next 45 minutes to an hour. With that, I'm going to be talking about AI in healthcare, and this is a loose structure of my talk. And let's start off with the current state of the pandemic. And the principals earlier mentioned it, we are in a kind of a really sad space. 20 million confirmed cases, over 750,000 people who have died, of which almost a quarter of them right here in the U.S. Hospitals' capacities are stretched to the limit. And you may look at all of these things and you may think it's doom and gloom, but I am going to be more optimistic. In fact, the principal said every challenge is an opportunity, and he was right. And I'm going to stress the more optimistic part of what we have to look forward as we weather this pandemic and get out of our collective malaise that we're going through. There is a lot more things to be optimistic about. And with that, let me dive into my talk. And AI is not something which suddenly showed up in the scene today. It goes a long way back. In fact, in the 1940s, a famous mathematician named Turing came up with the Turing test, which was fundamentally trying to figure out how to recognize systems which are intelligent. So he basically devised a protocol wherein through a TTY connection, you can send your questions to the remote terminal. And if the answers come back and you're not able to distinguish whether the person at the other end of the terminal is a person or a machine, then the machine, if it was indeed a machine, you can say it has intelligence. So it's been a goal of all of computer science to actually devise machines which are intelligent. And it's been a quest which is going on for literally ever since computers have been invented. But in the late 70s and early 80s, there was a category of systems which showed a whole lot of promise. It was using symbols and it was called symbolic reasoning. And the more generic term is expert systems. And they took off. And in fact, in 1984, Edward Feigenbaum from Stanford, he wrote a book called Fifth Generation, wherein he was worried about the Japanese ascendance in the application of AI in their system. And the fifth generation system at that time was called the AI system. And fundamentally, they were all rule-based systems, and they were applied in all kinds of contexts, from mining for oil and all kinds of medical applications. In fact, my PhD 40 years ago was in the healthcare domain to build an expert system. But it turned out that those expert systems were very brittle. Their knowledge, anytime you ask a question which is outside its knowledge, it immediately gave up. And this led to a disillusionment with this whole approach. And late 1980s and early 1990s, I would appreciate if people will mute their systems. The early 1990s, the disillusionment was so great that the AI researchers at that time, they called it the AI winter. But right around around the same time, machine learning took off. Jeffrey Hinton, who's literally the father of deep learning and neural networks, started defining systems and solutions using deep neural networks. And machine learning came into play. And the last decade has been truly remarkable. The amount of systems which incorporate deep learning in their solutions and machine learning have actually literally taken off. With that, I'm going to give you a brief on what machine learning typically entails. There are basically, you can talk about 3 types of learning: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforced learning. And supervised learning is the most prevalent mode in which machines are trained. You basically give it lots and lots of data, and it spits out, and then you basically train a model, and then you apply the model to predict anything or do a particular task. Unsupervised learning is also taking off in a big way, and as the name implies, the machines learn in an unsupervised fashion. And how in the world can a machine learn in an unsupervised fashion? An example would be what are called language models. And these are basically trained by text. So you have lots of Wikipedia text, lots of books, and the machine is basically asked to predict. You give the left context and you say, predict the next word. And then you grab it up and predict the next word, predict the next word. And you know what the next word is because you have the whole document, you have the whole wiki text, or you have the whole textbook. So there are solutions there are models which are built based on this approach, and this is called unsupervised learning. And you are seeing the effects of all of these things in all of the different applications you're engaging with. When Google, when you type in something and the Google finishes the sentence for you, that is based on unsupervised learning, based on creating a language model. When you're typing something in your iPhone or your Samsung phone, it automatically completes those words. That's language model. It's predictive typing. There are new solutions which incorporate that, which have come out with incredible power. There is a solution called GPT-3, which just came out, which has been trained with so much language that the model that it represents can then be used in a variety of other contexts called transfer learning to do all kinds of wonderful stuff. And the last category is reinforcement learning, which is to make a system learn playing games. So you probably have seen where Google had a machine which will play the Go system, and it becomes the world champion in playing Go because. And then you also have systems which play Atari games and various other games as well. So fundamentally, these are the types of things. Now let's pivot to healthcare. Healthcare, and again, the whole field of AI is seeing a lot of investments. In the healthcare space, in the last half a dozen years, 5 years, the amount of funding which is going into startups is incredible. The number of startups in this field is totally mind-boggling. And hundreds and hundreds of startups have come out. And in 2020, just in the first half of this year, you have $9 billion of new investment going into this whole field. It shows the excitement, the opportunities which exist in this field. And here's one incredibly optimistic book. If there is one book I would recommend for you to go and grab it and read it, this is a book which came out the beginning of the year. And it's incredibly optimistic view of the world. And it says the future is faster than you think. And fundamentally, the thesis of the book is there are significant advances in core technologies, variety of technologies. And because of that, the synergistic use of these technologies results in better solution and faster solution, which is better than the sum of the parts. The reason why deep learning took off in an exponential growth phase this last decade is because of the computing technology, the GPUs. People are using CPUs and machines for gaming, and they were using graphical processing unit because they were rendering three-dimensional diagrams and pictures, and they figured out that you can use it for deep learning, and voila. And what used to take years to train can be trained in a half a day or a couple of days. So the advancements in computing technology has resulted in the advancements in deep learning technologies and the advancements, the applications which furthers it. And that is the thesis behind this book, that the acceleration of technology in one area benefits other areas which can piggyback on top of it.
What are the core technologies they are talking about in this book? Quantum computing. Of course, AI is kind of the pixie dust which lies on top of all of these core technologies, like networks. We're now talking about 5G networks penetrating, but believe me, there is also 6G on the works. A lot of people working on 6G. Sensors, there is all kinds of sensors, and the amount of new innovations in the sensor, just in the sensor field alone, is mind-boggling. And robotics, virtual and augmented reality, 3D printing, blockchain, nanotechnology, biotechnology, all of these technologies are independently accelerating. And because they are independently accelerating in the innovation and the solutions which are enabled by these advances in these individual vectors is more than the sum of the parts. It's incredible. And that's why you're seeing so much innovation going on at this time. So let's dive into one particular area, wearables and remote monitoring. So wearables it basically makes the digital health, it makes you the point of care. So it allows you to monitor your sleep, your exercise, your stress level, are you meditating well? And there are things like DNA tests, which goes at the core of who you are. And now you also have things which will analyze what is inside your gut. So wearables are impacting every aspect of your life. And if you look at it, there is a wearable for almost every part of your body, from your head to toe. You can have things in your smart glasses. You have hearing aids, which are noise canceling and allows you to interact. You have smart eyewears, contact lenses, smart clothes. There's all kinds of clothes which have sensors in them, armbands, wristbands, legs, feet, everything. And these technologies, these sensors make a great difference in what you can monitor and how you can deal with it. I'm just going to give you some examples of sensors. Of course, if you look up the specifications on your smartphone, like your iPhone or Android, you're going to see that it has a whole slew of sensors. Just to quote a few, accelerometer is how you manage to figure out how many steps you're taking, what speed you're going, and accelerometer combined with a gyroscope, barometer, temperature, and humidity sensor will combine all of those things, and you can figure out, are you moving indoor, are you moving outdoor, are you walking upstairs, are you walking downstairs, and you can figure out all kinds of things. A combination of different set of sensors like a gyroscope and a magnetometer, you can figure out how is your fall. I mean, how is your balance? Are you balanced? Are you about to fall? And did you fall? And so there is these sensors which can allow you to figure out exactly what you're doing. Humidity sensors, temperature sensors, magnetometers, and then there's all these electrodes. With these electrodes, you can monitor your heart rate, you can monitor EKG, you can get your EEGs. There is a number of things which allows you to monitor the temperatures, all kinds of temperature measuring sensors are out there, measuring the ear canal, infrared temperature sensors, which and you also have things which will monitor your sweat glands, galvanic skin response, and it will figure out your psychophysiological condition. Are you having a panic attack? Are you anxious? Just based on your sweat glands. And last but not the least is you have the light sensors. These are called photoplethysmograph, basically LED lights which are shined on your fingers or your various body parts, and it can figure out by the reflection the underlying the composition of your of what it's looking at. So this is one of the ways in which you measure the blood oxygen saturation level, heart rate, blood pressure, and wearable clothes. My goodness, there is all kinds of sensors attached to the clothes. In fact, there are some socks which you can wear, and if you're diabetic, it will tell you if there is enough oxygenation of blood in your toes based on the socks that you're wearing. So how does all of these things work? what is the impact of these sensors with what can you actually do with it? Because you have the sensors and the sensing information is coming from arm or the leg, and then all these different sensors, accelerometer or gyroscope, it pulls out all these signals. And and some of these are basically training data, you extract features, you do all kinds of things, you figure out, and basically what you're trying to figure out is he walking or jogging, is he running, is he going up the steps or going down the steps, etc. And this is basically what is done. And once you have trained the model, you can download it to your smartphone or your smartwatch, and it can basically figure out what you're doing. Apple Watch, I mean, a number of you may be familiar with Apple Watch. It's incredible what the latest series of Apple Watch can do. It can monitor EKG, it can monitor your heart rate. It'll tell you if you're in a very noisy environment. It'll give you a blood glucose levels, and it can track what you're eating, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it'll also help you call SOS, having recognized that you're fallen down. And it's not just Apple. Google also has a whole bunch of things. They, of course, recently acquired Fitbit, and it tracks all kinds of things using these smartphones. And basically, the core of how these applications work is behind the scenes AI. So in this case, I talked about the light-based sensors. So it can figure out your blood glucose level. In this case, you're looking at somebody monitoring the EEG signals. Actually, wearables that help with your sleep or monitoring your sleep is a big deal, because a lot of people struggle with sleep. And in fact, there is even an app which if you set an alarm, it'll wake you up at the right time in your REM sleep in the morning. So if you set it at 6 o'clock in the morning, it'll wake you up either 5:45 or 6:10, based on when you are actually in a REM sleep as opposed to in a deep sleep. If it is in a deep sleep, it'll let you go and sleep some more. And there are studies which says that it alleviates stress if you do that. And this is a recent blog, I mean, a recent announcement just a couple of weeks ago, where a smartwatch based on the sweat glands in you can basically tell you how the drug that you have taken works, how your medication is working, right? All kinds of things you can do. The pulse oximeter was a big news during this COVID pandemic, because one of the things which predicts whether you are about to fall sick is the level of oxygen saturation in your lungs. So if there is a drop in oxygen saturation, that means you're probably coming down with COVID. So lots of people are going around getting these things. And this whole area is exploding, and lots of companies are coming up with solutions in the wearable and remote monitoring space, so that anywhere from monitoring your vitals to blood oxygen and blood pressure and blood glucose and cardiac, it can also provide you a personal health assistant to help you live your life in a nice way. Now I'm going to, what remote monitoring enables is what we call as basically telehealth. And you're all homebound, and if you want to see a doctor, best thing is to do through televisit. And this comes under the rubric of telehealth. So I'm going to do, and again, telehealth has been around for a decade, and it was just going around without not much uptake. Even in this country, telehealth visits was not being paid for. There was regulatory restrictions, and all that changed in a jiffy. March of this year, when everybody went on lockdown, and the CMS here basically said, we'll start paying for telehealth visits, the whole televisit scenario exploded. And with that, one of the stock, Teladoc, who was one of the major players in the telehealth area, their stock took off. They went from all the way from 60 to 187 in a matter of 6 months. So So telehealth has been around for a long time, right? And one of the very first people to actually look at telehealth is NASA, and they started a telemonitoring program in 1964, and for a very good reason. They can't have an in-person visit with an astronaut. They need to monitor the astronaut, and the health of the astronaut is paramount in trying to take care of them. So they actually devised the some of the very early remote monitoring devices was devised by NASA, and they actually monitored everything from blood pressure to blood glucose to all these things. They were monitoring these things, and they were creating baselines. And anytime the baseline, there was an abnormality from the baseline reading, they would know that they need to take some action. So telemonitoring and televisit started way back, almost 50, 60 years ago. And as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. But fast forward to a couple of months ago, and there is an explosion of companies which are focusing on telehealth. And this website basically listed 51 vendors who are supplying new solutions to the telehealth space. What exactly is telehealth technology? There's a lot of different pieces to it. Of course, Zoom became one of the primary ways in which people are connecting to the patient, but Zoom is not an ideal televisit platform without incorporating security features. And security features is prominent, at least is prominent everywhere. And in the US, they basically say you need to be HIPAA compliant. Basically, you should not expose a person's private confidential information in any fashion. So remote patient monitoring, wearable devices play into it. AI plays a big part. And AI plays a big part in all kinds of things like medication reminders and televisits. In the NASA scenario, it was usually the data is collected and is stored and forward. So stored and forward and email and chat, everything comes under the telehealth umbrella. Something very close to you in there. This was a news from just a few weeks ago. The Apollo hospitals realized, and this particular blog talked about Sangeeta Reddy, who runs one of was one of the directors of the Apollo systems. Basically, decided to use the unused hotel rooms as hospital beds by incorporating remote monitoring equipment in those rooms. So you can see how you can, of course, they could be in the home itself, but in the hotels, they can have it with remote monitoring. To give you a flavor of how this works, I'm going to play a video. And basically, this is an Israeli company who provide home hospitalization service. And just look at the audio text here.
שלום, מדברת דוקטור אוקיי מיחידת אשפוזי הבית של שיבא. השארתי לך ליד הדלת ערכת אשפוז בית, כל הציוד שנדרש לך.
שלום מורה, מה שלומך?
יכול להיות יותר טוב?
אני דוקטור סגל, מהיחידה לאשפוזי בית של תל השומר, ואנחנו נפגשים עכשיו במסגרת המעקב אחרייך כחלק מקבוצת האנשים שיש להם קורונה. אני רוצה ברשותך למדוד לך את חום הגוף. אם תקחי לרגע את המכשיר הקטן הזה, את תוכלי לראות שעכשיו אני מדליק עליו תמונה קטנה. עכשיו נמדוד את החום שלך, בלי לגעת, יופי. מצוין, אין לך חום בכלל, 36.9. עכשיו אנחנו עוברים לבדוק את הלוע. תפתחי פה גדול בבקשה. מצוין, אני לא רואה דלקת בלוע. הדבר הבא הוא להאזין לריאות שלך. תקחי בבקשה עכשיו את הסטטוסקופ ותחברי אותו אל המכשיר. תניחי בבקשה את המכשיר בנקודה מספר 1. תנשמי עמוק,
So you get the idea. Basically, you can, with the advancement in the remote monitoring and the telehealth equipment, you can basically conduct a normal patient visit. Pretty much almost anything you can manage in this remote monitoring as the sensors become more and more advanced, and in fact this is the way a lot of systems are going, and that equipment that you're talking about is actually available here in a place like Best Buy for $300 or something like that. So the equipment is coming down in price, and it can enable all kinds of these kinds of solutions. Now let's do a little bit of a pivot and talk about data analytics and imaging and the role of AI in healthcare. So the amount of data that you have available is coming from all kinds of things. Of course, one of the core areas, the electronic health records, you have the biomic data, you have the genomic data, and you have all kinds of imaging data, and the wearables data, things which you are monitoring. The whole social media is a big trough of data. And then there is research. There is tons of research being done constantly. And environment data. Where do you live? Are there environment pollutants? All of these things impact health. And there are analytics programs which are there, which takes all of this data and boil it down and are developing all kinds of AI models. And the application domains for analytics is just endless. It's used for early identification of a disease. It can be used to stratify the population based on risk of acquiring the disease. And then you can, if you understand a particular population and you know where they are, you can go and intervene, predicting the impact of what are called social determinants of health. So where you live, are you living in a hutment? Are you living in a suburbia? Or where you live has a direct impact on your health consequences. Actually, COVID has actually proven that. A lot of the poorer sections have been hammered with the infection rate going up and the positivity rate being sky high. So providing diagnostic clinical decision support for physicians, image analysis, using the social media to figure out whether someone is mentally disturbed is another application which people are actively been looking at. So one trough of data which I want to highlight is EHR data. About 10 years ago, at least in the US, they basically mandated that every hospital and every clinic has to be has to adopt an electronic health record. And with that, the amount of data which was coming in is just billions and billions of data, and there is lots of data which was coming in, and and that has fueled a lot of research with that data. Here is an example of, I mentioned the gut. So this particular company, you send a stool sample, they'll analyze it, and they'll basically say, what are the good bacteria in your gut, and what are the bad bacteria, and how you should modulate your diet so that you be the best you can be. And here is one which researchers in Bern and University of Maryland recently figured out. You just give it 2 pictures, and then it will basically tell you what you're eating and how much nutrition it has and how bad it is for you or how good it is for you. This is early research, and it basically recognized mashed potatoes, carrots, etc. But here's an interesting thing. It recognizes chicken as a samosa, so which is not all that good, but it'll get better. I mentioned population health earlier. What AI allows you to do is that you can analyze a population based on the history of, if you have information about the individual, you can use that information and you can basically stratify them into risk strata. Or these are old people with multiple chronic conditions, and they are more susceptible for COVID than these younger people, vice versa. And so you can, based on that, you can target your intervention however you're going to do it. This is just from a couple of weeks ago. Google and Howard, they basically created a new model. There's lots of model out there. which are trying to predict the COVID outbreak and where it is going. But this one is unique. It uses a lot of data, and they're using all kinds of data. They are looking at the air quality data from EPA, econometric data, poverty and affluence level from US Census, hospital resources data, and with all of that, they have created a forecasting model on a county by county basis for the US. So you can click on it and say where you're living and which county, and it will tell you what they expect the COVID infection rate is going to be for the next 2 weeks. So it's a very short term, very focused to help policymakers with how to deal with the pandemic. So this is something which just came out. The imaging, you all have probably taken x-rays, and there is all kinds of imaging like CT scans, MRI, and pathological images, retinal images, and every aspect of imaging has had AI influence. Google released, and there is a number of other players, you can just take a picture of your eyes and it can diagnose lots of different conditions with your eyes. So the problems in the eyes can be diagnosed. You can take a picture of your a rash in your skin, and there are programs out there which will basically tell you what is the problem with your thing. And mammograms, MRI, CT scans, all of these things have benefited hugely from AI. They have also been used to detect. So this is X-ray, which is looking at a lung image, and it can basically figure out whether your lung capacity has deteriorated because of COVID. The Chinese researchers did the same thing with CT scans. And they can basically use this to confirm whether somebody's with COVID or not. One of the things with these models, and I'll mention it back in the end, it's a black box, and if it says that this person has COVID and this person doesn't have COVID, how do you believe it, right? So they have basically developed models which will try to explain how these things work. I'm going to switch gear a little bit. I have a lot of material to cover, so hopefully you're keeping tabs of what I'm going through. Amazon, Google, virtual assistants. Of course, everybody is familiar with Alexa. At least Alexa is pretty much ubiquitous in the US, everywhere. And of course, Google, Microsoft, Apple, all of them have agents which are out there. 3M and my company is also very heavily involved in voice assistants, but we are primarily focused on helping physicians. So our voice technology is simply focused on just physicians and nobody else at the moment. And we have about 250,000 physicians in over 4,000 hospitals in the US using our technology for interacting with the EHR, for dictating a clinical report, or to summarize patient-physician interactions. Those are the kinds of things we work with. And virtual assistants is a growing and growing enterprise. Practically everything, anytime there is a wearable technology, there is also an app which goes with it, which is basically a chatbot which interacts with you with the voice. And the number of things which are out there is just mind-boggling. The things, there is a cancer chatbot which helps patients understand the cancer diagnosis. There are bots which will basically talk to you and figure out what symptoms you have, both text and speech. And these all can be used in the context of telehealth, like information gathering before the actual visit and communicate to the physician. And so the number of bots out there are just mind-boggling. And recently, the past couple of years, there has also been a surge of mental bots. These are basically bots which are aimed at gauging your mental status. And research studies have shown that people are more open to discussing the problems and issues they have, which could be characterized of the nature of mental issues, with a bot than they are with a real person, which is kind of a strange, but in a sense, it makes sense because when you're talking to a bot, which is downloaded to your thing, and there is assurance that nobody else is going to get that information, then people open up and they share what the problem is. And these kinds of devices can be used to promote good health, good mental health. And this was a couple of years ago. It gives you an inclination where Amazon is headed with Alexa. And in this case, it actually recognizes, because the person coughed, that maybe, and he's saying, cough, I am hungry. And Alexa, recognizing that he's coughing, say, hey, do you like chicken soup? Or shall I order cough drops? So it is recognizing the status of the person from voice and the audio signals that it's getting from him. This is recent. CDC with Microsoft help created a coronavirus chatbot. It'll basically talk to you, and you can basically tell it what symptoms you have, and it'll walk you through and to figure out whether you're coming down with coronavirus or not. And these kinds of bots have been deployed widely in the U.S. And for good reason. Another area I'm going to talk about is drug discovery. That is an area which has expanded enormously with the advent of AI. But in this talk, I'm going to focus on just one particular area, which is what has drug discovery meant for pandemic response. So we literally came to know that this pandemic existed at the beginning of the year. And until March, we weren't even sure what the hell was going on. And then within about a period of 3 or 4 months, to have all these different vaccines and have this treatment regimen, how did that happen? To give you a sense of what happened, I'm going to play this video by Gates.
The most urgent invention in the world right now is a vaccine that prevents you from getting COVID-19. What vaccines do is they teach your immune system about the pathogen. This is the coronavirus. And this shape on its outside is called the spike protein. It grabs on to the cells in your body that have a particular receptor and get that cell to make billions of copies of this virus. The first time that you're exposed to this virus, it takes literally days for your immune system to realize that it's a bad thing. So how do we get the immune system to go faster? Well, the idea of a vaccine is to give you an exposure to something that looks like this. So you're getting your body to make a lot of antibodies that can take these viruses and actually kill them. There's over 100 different efforts making many different types of coronavirus vaccines. So how do you make a vaccine? Usually you're injecting at least part of the shape of the virus. Sometimes you do the whole virus, but it's attenuated so it doesn't multiply too much. Sometimes you take the virus and you kill it. You won't get sick because they're not duplicating. What's typically done is you just take either a piece of the virus or just the spike, that thing on the surface, and you put it on something else. So there's no risk at all of causing the disease. One final way that's new and is promising is called the RNA vaccine. With RNA and DNA, instead of putting that shape in, you put instructions in the code to make that shape.
So the last bit which you talked about, the DNA and RNA, it's completely new. This was something which couldn't have been done 10 years ago or 15 years ago or even 5 years ago. But the amount of explosion of DNA and DNA-specific precision medicine has taken off, which focuses around DNA. And all of the pharma companies, the big pharma, is off to the races trying to generate disease-specific cure based on DNA and RNA. This particular thing, the RNA and something which is called messenger RNA has recently been used to figure out how to actually build a vaccine which is based on the genetic structure of those things. And it turns out that there are traditional vaccines. As of a couple of days ago, the number of vaccines which are in phase 3 trials, which basically means once the phase 3 trial is over, they're ready to give the vaccine to the people. And phase 3 trials involves tens of thousands of people in a double-blind study. Half the people would be given the vaccine, the other half would be given a placebo, and then they figure out whether the vaccine actually works, is it safe, is it effective, and the phase 3 trial is the one which basically ultimately gives a stamp of approval as to whether we can give the vaccine. And the DNA and the RNA-based vaccine, two of them are basically have made it to the phase 3 trials. And this is warp speed in terms of vaccine development. As an example, the AIDS vaccine took about 10 years for them to develop, and it's just incredible. So so the AI technology, so that's for vaccines, but it is also used for therapeutic case. How do you figure out which drugs are appropriate for treating a condition once it's already there? The prophylactic use or the vaccine use is to prevent you from getting the disease, but once you have the disease, how do you treat you? And there is the AI technology is used, and in this case, this particular company screened 15,000 clinical modules, and they basically are searching for a molecule which will actually work and treat the drug. And there is also there are people in this case, in this example, the AI software basically went and figured out that arthritis drug might help in a certain cases. And now it's being tried in a clinical trial. And so fundamentally, this whole COVID situation, as your principal said, challenges or opportunities. In this case, the biopharma industry, the whole pandemic has turned out to be a huge impetus for coming up with new ways which are much more faster and better than any of the approaches that they had before. So the entire process by which you will try to look for disease treatments and cures have completely changed thanks to the pandemic. A list of grab bags. I'll be remiss if I don't talk about some robotic surgery. So, robotic surgery has taken off in a big way in various sectors. This was originally developed with DoD funding for a very good reason. Again, necessity is the mother of invention. DoD had to deal with battlefield injuries, and what better way to deal with it than using telemedicine and telesurgery? And so a lot of the developments were actually underwritten by DARPA and DoD. But for laparoscopic surgery and there is a lot of work going on the remote surgeries. Here is a robot which goes around killing all these things. Thanks to the pandemic, we have all these disinfectant robots. Another technology which has been taking off also is the 3D printing. And 3D printing for anything and everything has been going on. One of the areas where you can basically print your own medical devices on demand, like stents, which are custom made to your vessels. So those stents are not for anybody, but just for you. And prosthetics, just for you. And you can print organs. Recently, some enterprising college students start building PPE when it was in dire short supply, personal protective equipment and face shields using 3D printing. Virtual reality is another area which is pretty big. So let me.
when we recreated the images into 360-degree virtual reality, it became obvious very quickly that there's such a stark contrast between the virus-infected abnormal lung and the more healthy adjacent lung tissue. And it's such a contrast that you do not need an MD after your name to understand these images. This is something that the general public can take a look at and really start to comprehend how severe the amount of damage that this is causing to the lung tissue. The damage that we're seeing is not isolated to any one part of the lung. This is severe damage to both lungs diffusely.
So when you saw this, what did you feel? What was your first reaction?
My first reaction is, as somebody who spends a lot of time educating the public about various conditions as well as professionals, I wanted to get this message out, get this picture out to the public so that people who so far have not been heeding the warning of public health professionals can perhaps see these images and see the destruction that is being caused in the lungs. And
so virtual reality is fundamentally used in a lot of different contexts in healthcare. You saw that example where they basically looked at the lung and recreated how the actual lung looks like in a COVID patient, and it's an incredible solution for educating physicians. It is also very heavily used in robotic surgery. You get a 3D image as you actually traverse the body. So it's also used as a tool in those kinds of surgical situations. So virtual reality is used in a lot of different contexts for educational purposes, for gaming situations, and the rest. But in healthcare, right now, there's been an uptick for training physicians, educating physicians, or educating patients. So, that's the area. And here is an example of drones being pressed into service for medication delivery. So UPS is using deliver CVS prescriptions to Florida retirement community. And I always wondered how it's going to actually work, but it turns out it to be pretty simple, right? They basically deliver to a common spot, and the last mile is the foot. So if somebody gets all the medications, and if you're going to deliver to a retirement community, you can take all the meds and hand deliver them. So the last mile is still by somebody. Another interesting application is something called spatial genomics.
The keys to understanding disease lie hidden within ourselves. So when a technology offers new and better ways to study cellular activity, discoveries often follow. This is precisely what's happened since 10x Genomics first introduced technologies for analyzing single cells. But cell function is not only defined by which genes are active or inactive within the cell itself. Where the cell is located within a tissue sample matters too. Spatial transcriptomics is a groundbreaking technology from 10x Genomics that allows scientists to measure all the gene activity in a tissue sample and map where the activity is occurring. Knowing the location of active genes within a sample provides invaluable insights for research and diagnostics. Already, spatial transcriptomics has led to advances in our understanding of neuroscience, cancer, and other disease areas. Discoveries like these will prove instrumental in helping scientists gain a better understanding of biological processes and disease. The key.
So that's also where does the AI part in spatial genomics? It's all the data which you're collecting at the various point, and then once you have the data, then you build models and you try to understand it. So earlier on, I talked about the fact that we have these language models which will take in lots of textual data and figure out what's going on. So this group in Berkeley Labs, they built something called the COVID Scholar, which basically took all the publications and literally there are thousands of publications coming out on a daily basis just on the COVID. And within the past 3-4 months, we have more than 65,000 papers, research papers on COVID. The incredible might of all the scientific community across the whole world has been unleashed on this COVID problem because it's a pandemic, it's a global pandemic. And it's interesting. Now, how in the world anybody can actually figure out what's going on? So they actually built a solution, a search solution, which will go in and index all of this information. And they use something called the word embeddings. The word embedding is a representation of the words and clinical concepts within these papers. And they basically created a model of it. And you can search it to figure out, oh, I'm interested in papers related to asymptomatic transmission, or the use of hydrochloroquine in treating COVID, or use of arthritic drugs. And immediately you get all the papers which are related to it. So with that, I am pretty much giving you a certain overview, but I also need to highlight some problems with the AI technology as it currently exists. And the fundamental issue with AI technology today, and they are useful for a vast variety and range of applications, but they fundamentally are not human intelligence. They are machine intelligence, and they don't understand functionality. They don't understand meaning. So for instance, here's an example of chairs designed by AI. Some of them are okay. This one is okay, but here it didn't understand that the functionality of a chair is for you to sit. So you can hardly sit here. You can't sit here, and so it doesn't understand the meaning of what it's trying to do. And you have to be very careful in whatever application you're looking at to understand its limits. And the other thing is that it needs lots and lots of data. All the supervised learning techniques require lots of data, and the data is messy, and people have to spend a lot of time curating the data. And if the data is not correctly obtained, it can have bias. So bias in healthcare is rampant. When you use these AI technologies to actually do the thing, it can create bias. An example of a bias, which was pointed out just recently here, is when trying to figure out who is more sick, the company used the expenditure data, who actually spend more money on healthcare, to determine who is more sick. And it turns out African Americans avoid spending money, not because they are not sick, but because they can't afford it, or at least in the poorer section. So an intrinsic bias cropped in, and they were targeting people, the more affluent people who are sick, whereas missing on the population of people who are actually more sick, but didn't come in their filters because their model was biased. And that's a cautionary tale for how you actually curate your training data. And most of the models tend to be black box. I mentioned earlier that you need to make explicit effort to make your model into a white box, which is an explainable model. So along with its outputs of the model, it also gives you out the reasons why certain things are true. And this is a major area of research right now. And Eric Topol, in his book, Deep Medicine, he actually highlights this, that a lot of these models, and particularly this is true of a lot of the radiology models, the models are trained on a very specific set of data. And because of that, they have a very narrow focus. And suddenly you give it something which is outside of what it has seen, it fails. So there is a term that they use here, how good the model generalizes to real life scenario, which also means that any solution that you build has to be rigorously validated in a real world situation. So you need to know what are the limits of the model, how does it actually perform on real world, and you need to really test it before you actually deploy it. So what does that all mean for the future? COVID-19, for better or worse, has plunged this into a greatest economic downturn. Lots of inequities in health and wealth. It'll be a while before we get out of this mess. But there is plenty to be optimistic about. There truly is. Telemedicine has taken off. Tele-education has taken off. This webinar is a proof in point. Population health and sentinel surveillance have changed forever. Genetics and AI had turbocharged drug discovery and treatment. And AI will augment every aspect of human activity, and it's not going to replace it, but every aspect. We have a lot of opportunities to have a positive impact, and you're all students, you're all in at the right space. The principal said you're Generation Z. I don't know which alphabet you are, but you have the best future, and make the best of it. So your future is whatever you make of it. Thank you. I hope I wasn't too fast or trying to go through a whirlwind of material here.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the wonderful lecture. You have explained it in a way that everyone understands easily. Once again, I thank you for spending your valuable time with us, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, and participants, if you have any questions, put it in the chat box and it will be answered at the end of the session. Now, first, we have KSRCT students to present about advancement in healthcare based on sensor technology. I would like to call S. Bhuvaneshwaran, M. Ebenezer, S. Mauli, N. Gutayal, K. Nandini for their presentation.
Yeah, go ahead.
KSRCT team, you can
Yes, sir.
start the presentation.
Okay, sir.
Share the presentation if you have.
Are you sharing a presentation?
Yes, sir. Wait.
Yeah.
Open the presentation and put it in the slideshow.
One second, sir.
And then share your
Wow. Sir, it is visible.
Yes, put it in the slideshow.
Okay. I briefly welcome all members present in this meeting. My name is S. Bhuvaneshwaran from KS Rangaswamy College of Technology. Today I'm going to talk about the advanced sensor technology used in healthcare. Today I'm briefly going to explain important sensor used in healthcare, currently available sensors under research, making affordable sensors by the sensor technology, reaching sensor-based healthcare assistance to all level of people, the role of engineers in sensor technology. First, we want to know What is a sensor? Sensor is nothing but a device which can respond to the physical stimulus. For example, like heat, light, sound, or the physical stimulus. In day-to-day life, we use sensors. For example, mobile phone. Mobile phone has a many type of sensor. Mic, even mic is an sensor. It is a transducer which can convert the sound signal into the electrical signal. Sensors activates the physical quantity and converts into the electrical signal. Here, the physical quantity means it represents the natural energy. For example, heat, light, etc. What is a biosensor? Biosensor is nothing but an analytical sensor incorporating the biological material. It is used to diagnose some medical related problems in human body, etc. Importance of sensors in healthcare. It converts various form of, for example, oxygen content present in our blood, then our pulse rate, which can convert it into the electrical signal. First of all, sensors is nothing but collecting a data, a device which collects the data from the physical stimulus. The sensors can increase the intelligence of the medical instruments. Nowadays, using a medical instrument, sensors play a vital role. Currently available sensors for example, biosensor, pressure sensor, temperature sensor. In biosensor, transducer used. It is used to scan the pregnancy. Transducer is nothing but it transmits and receives the ultrasonic waves to find the fetal movement inside the mother's womb. Pressure sensor, it is used to measure the oxygen concentration in ventilator. Temperature sensor is to monitor the temperature present at the ventilator. Image sensors, most of all, image sensors are used in endoscopy treatments. Endoscopy is nothing but a thin tube which can insert it into the human body to monitor the internal organs. Skin sensor, another type of the sensors under the research. Nowadays, skin sensors are more widely used. It is thin, flexible, and it is used to monitor the skin layer. You can see in this image, the first layer consists of a skin condensation sensor. Second layer, which can measure the temperature present at the skin. Third layers are the electrode which can attach to our skins. Third is the type of sensor is a plastic sensor. It is used in number of critical metabolism such as glucose that are present in our sweat, tears, saliva, or blood. And when it is incorporated into diagnosed devices, could allow the health conditions to monitor quickly, cheaply, and accurately. Making affordable sensors. By making the sensors into the affordable cost, we can manufacture the many products. We can reduce the value of sensors by using the nanotechnology, by reducing the cost of the microcontrollers and sensor modules. Reaching sensor-based healthcare assistant to the all level of people. Sensor monitoring should be utilized by everyone. Cost of the sensors and the equipment should be low. Available of the sensor should be easy. Providing knowledge of the advanced sensor to be educated people, uneducated peoples. The main thing, the role of engineering in sensor technology. Engineers want to design the sensor with the low cost and high accuracy and low power. Engineers can help to design the robots that can balance the human error. To design the sensor with the reliability and compact. engineers to update to the current technology. For example, nowadays the COVID problem are arised. Engineers should update themselves to related to the COVID-19. Engineers should provide the awareness about the sensor to the public. Conclusion. Sensors are device most useful technology in any questions? Hello, any questions in the section?
That was wonderful. That was a good summary.
Okay, sir.
I'm happy with what you guys did.
Okay, sir.
Do you have any questions yourself, Bhuvneshwar?
Ma'am, I have yes, ma'am. I have one question, sir. I want to know what is the role of a sensor in machine learning and AI?
If you remember, I had a chart for that. Sensors is fundamentally you're collecting data,
Yes,
right?
Sir. Yes.
So the data by itself doesn't help. So for instance, if you have a collection of sensors which is trying to figure out whether you're stable or you're falling down, the sensor is just providing the data. What the machine learning has to do is to classify, need to figure out, okay, now you're standing up, now you're fallen down, and the rate of acceleration by which you figure out the gyroscope and various other things, and you figure out that you're fallen down. Now, the idea behind these algorithms is to figure out what state the person is in based on what the sensor information is giving in. And there is a lot of machine learning algorithm going behind trying to figure out what the ultimate state is. And once you know what the status is, then you can act on it and say, oh, okay, this person has fallen down. He needs to be helped. Maybe we can automatically call an ambulance, right? So there's different layers of AI, but fundamentally sensors are just providing the data. And using the data, you train models.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, KSRCT students team. Moving on to the second student team from KPR IET. They are going to present us about the advancement in healthcare based on 3D printing technology. Let's invite the participants, Jeevan Prashant, Sindhu, Dhanup, Hariharan, and Dharmarajan. We would like to invite second team, KPRIET students team.
A very warm welcome to one and all present here. Myself Hariharan from KPRIET. I would like, first of all, like to thank PALS for giving a very wonderful opportunity for all of us. First of all, I will move to the short presentation on the advances in healthcare using 3D printing technology. Before going deep, I will just explain what is 3D printing. What is 3D printing? It is a manufacturing method in which the final products are.
Hari, we can't see your screen.
Your voice is something. Your voice is not clear.
Also, are you sharing anything?
Yes, he is sharing.
He's giving a prelude before that.
Oh.
Hari?
Hariharan?
Yeah.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, you are audible.
Sorry for this, ma'am. I will start first. A very warm welcome to one and all present here. Myself, Hariharan from KPIT. I would like to thank all the members.
Your voice.
Also for giving us a
Yeah, go ahead.
Go to the slideshow. Put it in the slideshow.
Yes, sir, I'm sharing your screen, sir.
I can see the screen now.
Oh, thank you. Start.
Hari. Robin.
Yes.
அவர்தான் வரல இன்னும்.
Okay.
ஹரி உங்க வீடியோ ஆஃப் பண்ணிட்டு வெறும் இதை மாத்திரம் ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க.
Yes, sir. That will be. Ma'am, is that visible, ma'am?
இல்லம்மா இல்ல.
No.
Screen is also not visible.
Robin, do you have it? வருது இருக்கு. மெதுவா வருது.
Now it's coming.
Oh, okay.
It's coming. It will come.
One second. Ma'am, is the screen splitting, ma'am?
It is saying you have started sharing, but it is coming. It's on the way. நீங்க பாட்டு பேசுங்களேன், உங்கள்ட்ட இருக்கும்.
Go through it. Just.
Very warm welcome to Wonder here. It's Hariharan from PALS. I first of all like to thank.
அதுல இருந்து பரவாயில்ல, நீ அதை விடு. 3 தடவை தேங்க் பண்ணிட்டேன்.
Okay. One second.
Okay, we can call the next team.
Yes, sir. We can go to KSRCE and then we can come back to KPR, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, just call the next team, KSRCE.
Yes, sir. Now we have the students of KSRCE to present about advancement in healthcare based on robotics technology. I would like to call Dhanush Karthik, Manigandan, Gajendran, Sandhya and Rajesh Kumar for their presentation.
Yes, go ahead. Your screen is on.
He has to unmute. Gajendran, please unmute yourself.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes.
A hearty welcome to all. Today we are going to present some information about advances in healthcare. Let us see the session. Robotics plays a major role in our day-to-day life. What is robotics? Robotics that deals with the design, operation, and application of robots and computer system for the control, sensory feedback, and information processing. We are familiar with the robots. We almost like also robots. Robots can do anything, whatever we needed. Robotics play a vital role in upcoming years. There are high-tech robots. Nowadays, high-tech robots gives us nurses, helping hand robots, carry plates, clinic wasters, dirty linen and medical supplies. And they are being helpful in medical department also. Medical robots. They are computer integrated surgery system. First, medical robots play a vital role in the medical industries because all the technologies used in the medicals were used with the help of these kind of robots, and they were used for making some surgeries and carried out some surgical procedures. This is the picture of a cardiac surgery done by a robot. People who lost their organs can do with an art can help with an artificial organs. For example, if a person lost a hand by a fire surgery or etc., he may fix with the artificial organs if he want. It may be his hand was replaced by robots. It is a high-tech bionic hand was given after losing his hand in an accident. There are various types of classifications in the robot. They are supervisory controlled, telesurgical, shared controlled. Some of the healthcare sector robots were Vasterius Giraffe, Athentech, Bestic, Cosmo Bot, Microbots, Anybots, Swisslog Robo Courier, robots for the paralyzed patients. Vasterius Giraffe. It is one of the robot that is the mobile application tool that enables the elderly to communicate with the outside world. It is remote controlled and it has wheels and a camera and to monitor that the old person health controls. Ethan Tech is an automated system that allows the facility to move supplies over and medication, linens, and food from one space to another. It can attach the system with variety of hospital cards to the transport suppliers, and it would be employed for variety of applications. Bestic is a small robotic arm with a spoon on the net. The arm can be easily maneuvered and a user can independently control the spoon movement on the plate. Cosmo Bot. Doctors usually use Cosmo Bot to enhance the therapy of developmentally disabled children between the age of 15 to 12. Anybots provides a type of immersive telepresence, meaning instead of focusing merely on audio and video communications, Anybot allows a movement controlled by a movement of the unable or disabled persons. Swisslog Robo Courier is an autonomous mobile robot. The tool dispatches and delivers specimens, medications, and supplies throughout the hospitals. Robots for deaf and blind peoples. Dexter, a robotic hand communication aid for people who are both deaf and dumb, uses fingers supplying to communicate information typed on the keyboard, stored in the computer, or received from the special telephones. Robotic organs in human body. The commercially available arm is controlled using feedback from from electromyography sensors that measure the response of the muscle to nervous stimulation. Orthotics. A orthotic is a mechanism used to assist or support a weak or infected joint, muscle, or a limb. Upper limb devices. Robotic therapy is also developed for rehabilitation of hand, and it is helpful by pneumatic actuators located on the palm, which interactive independently and we can feel anything whatever we know. Strengths and limitations. There are various strengths in using robotic technology in the healthcare. Some of them are physical separation, wrist actions, tremor elimination, optional motion scaling, 3D stereoscopic image, and electronic information transfers. And the limitations of using robotic technologies are reluctance to accept the technology. Trust that is very, very important. Additional trainings. Most of the sensors is infrared transmissions too that may affect our health. Highly efficient virtual instructions are needed. Cannot be reprogrammed. Longer operating time. Future aspects. Last year, Toyota announced 4 robots made to help paralyzed patients walk or balance themselves. These robots can act as a two-wheeled balancing game. The machine displays one of 3 sports games on the monitor and requires the patient to make moves in the game by shifting his or her weight on the robot. Conclusion. A safe, easy, sterilized, accurate, cheap, and compact robot. Reliable telesurgical compatibilities. Compatibility with available medical equipment and standardizing. Autonomous robot surgeons. Thank you all.
Do you have any questions to the chief guest?
That's a good compilation of robots are everywhere. So it's a good sampling of what robots means for healthcare.
Thank you so much, KSRCE team. I think the second team from KPR IET has overcome the technical issues. Now I would like to welcome them to present us about advancements in healthcare based on 3D printing technology.
A very warm welcome to another presenter. I am Hariharan. I will straightly move to presentation. Yeah. This presentation is about advances in healthcare using 3D printing technology. Before going deep, I will just explain what is 3D printing. Yeah. 3D printing is a manufacturing method in which final products are made by fusing or depositing the materials in a layer by layer process. These are done using the materials like plastics, ceramics, and so on. As the technology is growing day to day, 3D printing has also grown to a product using products using living cells. Due to this manufacturing process, it is also known as additive manufacturing or rapid prototyping or solid free form technology. Now I move on to the next slide on medical applications on 3D printing technology. In medical field, 3D printing is also known as bioprinting. Mostly, it is used for the fabrication of tissues and organs. Also helps the surgeons for the surgical preparations and for drug delivery systems, and also customized implants and prostheses. These are the present technology, but some of them have a doubt why bioprinting is used. Uh, in modern, human tissues and organs start to failure due to aging, diseases, and or accidents. These are the major critical medical problems. The treatment for these sort of problems are organ transplantation. But These organ transplantations are quite a little bit expensive, and also for difficult to find the donor who have a tissue match. To solve this problem, bioprinting is introduced. Why bioprinting means? Bioprinting is an additive manufacturing process where the biomaterials such as hydrogels or other polymers are combined with cells and growth factors, then printed to create tissues like structures that imitate the nature tissue. These are some of the 3D printed human organs. First picture shows the inner organ, inner body part, that is heart, and the other one is finished product of a ear, that is a external part of our body. Next one is kidney, and the other one is liver. I would like to conclude here by saying that thank you, and I will give an opportunity for Dhanup for asking a question about this.
Hello. Whether my voice is audible to everyone?
Yes, it's audible. You can carry on.
Okay. Good evening to everyone. Myself Dhanup from third year Mechanical Engineering Department. Sir, my question is nothing but, sir, during bioprinting process, the 3D printer will use special material known as bio ink. Sir, can you explain what's that bio ink material, and how does the 3D printer use this material to fabricate human organs and tissues?
Wow. You have reached beyond my capability to answer those questions. I'm a computer scientist, not a mechanical engineer, but it's a good question. They are constantly innovating on the material that you can use to actually do the printing process, and it goes back to the future is faster you think slide that I mentioned earlier, that material science, the amount of innovation which is going on is incredible as well. So in particular, there are lots of advances which is happening in how this cellular materials are created, and these advances are a field onto itself, and the 3D printing has taken off in particularly in bioprinting. They have basically innovated in all the different ways in which the material technology has mimics cellular structures, and they are actually able to grow the cellular structure layer by layer to create basically custom specific organs and devices. And that's the best I can tell you at this point. But good effort by you guys digging up all the information about 3D printing.
So thank you, sir. Thank you for the explanation, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, myself Dharmarajan from third year mechanical KPR IET, sir. I am having a small question based on this PPT, sir. May I ask, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sir. Sir, what is meant by regulatory pathway, and how do we regulate 3D printing in medicine? Is any advantage for medical treatment, sir?
So this is a much broader question. Any time, at least in the US, you create a device and you assert that it has certain therapeutic advances, it has to go through a fairly involved process. That regulatory process in the US is managed by FDA. So if you have a therapeutic device, that needs to be approved through usually various studies. You remember I talked about the vaccine going through a phase 3 trial. So the regulatory process dictates that you have clinical trials that shows that a particular treatment or a particular device that you're creating is safe and effective, meaning that it doesn't harm the patient and it is effective. It is actually does what it's supposed to do. You can say a treatment is safe just by giving something which doesn't do anything, then it is not useful, right? So it needs to be both safe, it cannot create harm to the patient, and it needs to be effective. And that's where the regulatory process come in. And it doesn't matter if you're talking about PPE, which is personal protective equipment, or any equipment. If it has to be used for anything related to patients, it needs to go through a regulatory hurdle. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, sir. Thank you for the opportunity and make me useful, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes. Thank you, KPRIT student team. Now I request the participant to post your questions in the chat box, and it's a time for the question and answer session. Over to Robin, sir.
Robin, shall I take over?
I would request Mr. Arun Dev to read out the questions from the chat box. I think students have posted their questions.
Thank you, Jaggi, for the detailed presentation and the time taken and the trouble taken to put this all together, including the videos. I think it was in spite of the late hour, I think it was a very knowledge gaining session for all the students and all of us here at PALS as well. There are a few questions. I think we will go through that one by one. In cardiac surgery by robo, how does the robo particularly place the arm on that specific area? Is it programmed in that way? The body may vary from one to another. How does it do it? And if a person is moved in case while in surgery, will it find it?
This is where all the AI comes in, right? And this is all vision-based robots. It's no. So, for instance, you probably have heard of autonomous cars, right? And autonomous cars use a variety of sensors. They use video sensors. They use infrared sensors and various kinds of sensors. And they basically direct. You get the sensory input from the patient, and that is what is guiding the robot. So it knows specifically. It's been trained to look for certain patterns. That's where some of the AI comes in. Look for certain patterns as to where exactly to insert the needle and how to proceed. So there is intelligence involved in every aspect of it, and you have to train models and train different things. And in a real surgical solution, they don't usually let it go unaided. There is always the human supervision to make sure that something doesn't go wrong.
Okay, good, sir. Thank you. There's another question from Lyset Bharatram. I came across AlphaFold, a protein folding AI tool for protein folding. It is capable of studying the response of the protein that you create with aid of AI model creates with other chemicals. Instead of going for a human vaccine challenge, why haven't pharma companies opted for this?
That's a good question for the pharma, but the Google work, DeepMind, which you're alluding to, the protein folding, is a research effort. It's a research effort which tries to understand. It's a very complex, computationally intense problem. And they used deep learning solutions to figure out how to fold a protein. But how to fold a protein is not sufficient to determine a therapeutic treatment. And believe me, if Google DeepMind thought that any of that is applicable for treatment paradigm, they would have already done it. So it doesn't have to be deep pharma. Everybody is being scoring the landscape to figure out how best to come up with a treatment. So I'm sure somebody has thought about it, and if they don't use it, then must be a very good reason behind it.
Good. The other question we have is, when can an AI robot start to learn by itself and make it true by physical way? If that happens, will the AI robot be more intelligent than human? I guess this is something that bothers everyone.
Okay, this is a philosophical debate, and the AI scientists call something called AGI, artificial general intelligence, which is and Ray Kurzweil, who is a futurist and a Google scientist, he wrote a book on something called singularity almost 2 decades ago. And he predicted that at a point when the intelligence becomes, if they become self-learning, then you might reach a point of singularity. So there is a constant debate as to when such a singularity event might happen, when the robots become more intelligent than a human being. There is consensus that at some point it might happen, that you might have intelligence which is superior to the human intelligence, but there is no consensus on when that will happen. People say it might take 50 years, 100 years, 300 years. And there are people who might say it might take 10 years, right? But regardless, the current generation of robots and AI is nowhere near artificial general intelligence. There is, but that isn't stopping us from generating practical applications with what we can do right now. So and there are alarmists who see the HAL 2000 and think that computer is going to take over the world. That is not going to happen. It's extremely unlikely, and you don't have to. You can rest assured that it's not going to happen. The technology is ultimately is subservient to the human intelligence. The humans are the ones who are creating it, and for specific purposes, and it is not going to. It doesn't have self-consciousness. It doesn't have an atma like you and I do. So it's not going to go rampant.
A lot of other questions.
I saw a question about bias.
Yes, yes.
How do we
eliminate AI bias?
That is a question that each person who is actually developing a machine learning model or a deep learning model has to investigate for himself or herself. What data are you using? Is the data representative of what your ultimate goal is? How you actually validate the model? How do you test the model? Can you actually probe for biases? These all become a matter of how we actually develop, design, and test it. So it has to be a painstaking, careful, thought out process. And there are plenty of examples when people had ignored it and it has introduced bias in the solutions.
That answers a question there for the faculty there. Quite a few other things. Are you able to see that screen as well, Jaggi?
Yes, the chat screen, yes, I can.
And you can choose the questions that you think should be answered.
There's a lot of questions here. Yeah, replace human
No,
beings.
just after that bias. Just going after that bias. Recent great achievements of AI, I think that's too general a thing.
Great. I would point out one thing. You may want to look at GPT-3. And it's fascinating technology. It's since I am in the natural language side of things, it was a model which was created using reading all the texts which is out there, all the different Wikipedia pages and the web. Basically, it boiled down the web and it assimilated itself into a language model. The language model itself uh, is one thing. A language model basically predicts if you're given a left context, what is the next word, and is used for predictive typing. But it is also used for generating text, and it can generate news articles. It can generate uh, uh, you can answer question answers, and it's fascinating technology. You can go and check it out. Just Google GPT-3, and you will probably see something there.
Good. The next one we have is, will AI be 100% efficiently done in human surgery? And if yes, what are the surgeries that can be done?
There is a lot of surgical, any surgery potentially can be done by robot. And that doesn't mean that they're going to replace physicians anytime soon. And part of the reason is the AI systems are basically deep solutions, meaning you have to train for a very specific purpose, whereas humans are able to generalize and they can take a particular surgical technique, they can apply it or superimpose to the other thing. One of the things is how these systems learn, and it's an active research area. And again, GPT-3 has an indication or solution for those things. You show a machine millions of cat, and it'll recognize a cat. Human beings don't learn that way. You show it a few, you show a few cat, and then and a baby will learn, oh, that's a cat. And a cat shows up in a different ways, it'll still recognize it as a cat. So we have amazing powers to generalize and learn from few examples. And this is an active area of research. And you need to have that kind of a capability that can generalize it. And it doesn't matter surgery. The same is true of radiology. There's lots of very specific tools out there which will detect breast cancer. But the moment it's not breast cancer, it doesn't do any good, right? And so it's very deep and very specific. But if you try to do something outside of the scope, it's not going to be useful. That doesn't mean it's not useful for what it's designed to do, but it's not general enough to do other things.
Good. This is a question, I think it bugs for everybody who's not in the AI field or in the electronics field. Meenakshi from KPRIET, the faculty. I have one doubt. I belong to civil engineering department. Can you suggest the emerging and thrust area with AI?
AI is a glue which applies to practically every discipline. Unfortunately, my background in civil engineering is next to non-existent, but since my friend here has connected me to this whole thing, almost every construction. So there is all these robots which are used for construction. I don't know if that comes under civil engineering, and there is a lot of different techniques which are used for constructing robots. There is also drones which are used for various things, for inspection and things like that. One area, the measurements. I know every time I think of civil engineers, I think of people going around with these survey instruments. All of those things can be automated in various ways, and I don't know if civil engineers have to necessarily learn to use need to learn AI per se, but certainly there are tools which are going to be useful, which are being built using AI.
Probably non-invasive.
I didn't hear that answer.
It's non-invasive detection of defects in structures, large structures.
Exactly. Oh, definitely. In fact, a friend of mine here, he looks at bridge structures, and You can have various imaging, right? You can image the interior structure of it to figure out if it is going to break or is going to collapse or any of those kinds of things. And AI definitely plays a part in it. You can train it. These are good structures. This is going to break. We know it's going to break. Can you using
And
this
also the underwater fires where reaching out is difficulty. So you may send some drones and stuff and get data about those
exactly. The applications are endless.
That's true. Another question, interesting question, I think. May I know, will it be possible to build artificial consciousness in the structures of AI?
Ramaswamy, yeah.
I mean, that's what I mentioned early on, right? It doesn't have an Atma, it doesn't have consciousness. But there are these robots which have been designed to support, say, people with mental difficulties, right? And one of the things, it's basically a design issue. So you can fake it. You can basically imbue empathy in how the robot actually chats with you, right? The chatbots. So one of the design principles that people use in these things is how do you actually model conversations so that you are empathetic in your response to that person. It doesn't mean that the robot feels any empathy, but the designer of the robot has thought enough of it to figure out how to respond to it.
Yeah.
Using the heat map of
Yeah. So that's about things. A lot of the other questions I think we have answered while covering these questions as well. So
if we have more questions, we will answer it later.
yeah, they can send it to us by mail, and then we can probably
we can answer it.
Yeah, we can share it with.
Okay.
So Anu, would you like to step in?
That's Suresh and Sneha.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, go ahead.
I think we tried answering most of your questions, but do you have any other questions? You can just post it to the. You can just send a mail to them. It was great talking to you, sir, and you put on so much effort to answer each and everyone's question. Thank you so much, sir.
It's my privilege. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Saying thank you is more than good manner. It's a good spirituality. Yes, we are at the end of the session. We have Anuradha Ramanujam, PALS champion, to propose the ode of thanks.
Yeah, it's my honor to propose the vote of thanks. I first thank the hosts, KSRCT and KPRIET. And particularly, we have a couple of notes that I have taken, which we need to remember, which is horizontal exposure and vertical expertise. Dr. Gopalakrishnan of KSRCT told that. And it's important to involve and internalize. And the third thing he said was, don't say you're from the COVID batch. It was a new coinage altogether for me. We only say batch of 77, batch of 82, like that, but then it is a COVID batch. And let it be an expression of confidence and perseverance rather than excuses in challenging situations. So thank you, Dr. Gopal Krishnan, for that wonderful message. And I thank Akila, who doubled up from KPRIT to talk about PALS and made Ram's job very simple. As usual, she was very lucid and candid about what she wanted to say. And I thank you very much for being here right through with us. And Ram made it straight away spiritual with this Akshay Patra and Arjuna analogy. Arjuna being knowledge and skills, and Krishna being the AI and stuff like that. And what can I say about the speaker, Jaggi? He's optimism personified. And starting with the simple Turing test to recognize intelligence. Now it made me think laterally, are we intelligent enough to find out whether the other person that we are interacting with is intelligent? So are we testing on a continuous basis about the intelligence of the other people whom we are interacting with? And he gave some preliminaries on supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. An important takeaway is GPT-3. Go back home and check what it is. GPT-3 and predictive typing for all the students. And the future is faster than you think. It's very interesting as a topic itself. If the topic, if the title doesn't define the text, uh, my PALS colleagues need to go and pick it up in the Kindle at least and make a try to read. Maybe it's a heavy book. We will read just one paragraph or one forward and keep that as some memory for repeating.
No, it's a highly readable book.
It's a readable book. Okay, it's not. It's one thing like free economics I can manage. So, and there are lots and lots of information. One thing that was interesting was the final code that came. A new model needs to be trained if the input changes even a wee bit, and that's happening to us right now. If the input, the way we input education into our student system or into our education system is changing because the processes that we had earlier no longer make sense. So we are changing the model in which we are sharing information with you or knowledge with you. And then came the three teams, a KSRCT student team led by Bhuvaneshwaran and team, and they talked about sensors. What a wonderful presentation you had made. All these are, we may say it's just a collection, but what we are learning is we're learning to learn. Okay, we're trying to seek knowledge and then collate and put it in a particular way which is presentable to others. That itself is building some intelligence into our system. Tomorrow, anything I give you, you will be able to Google search or do whatever, talk to your faculty members, and then present it in a particular fashion that is palatable to everybody. It's very interesting. Thank you, team, Bhuvaneshwaran and team from KSRCT. Then we had KPRI, then we had the KSRCE team coming in with Karthik. And that was a lovely question from Dhanup, which he talked about 3D ink material. I'm going to search on that, what it is. And Dharmarajan on the regulatory path. All these are very, very pertinent questions for this particular topic, where a lot of privacy issues and connectivity and this data being an input for the pharma industry or some other industry was being talked about now. Because of the disruption, it has become nothing. No, there are regulatory bodies, but then people still go ahead with finding new vaccines and stuff. And then we had Hariharan, who had a very crisp presentation on robots. He tried very hard to come back, and that is very, very important. I would say, in spite of all the connectivity issues that he faced, he came back with his presentation and presented it. Thank you very much, Hariharan and team from KPR IET. Overall, it has been a well-spent evening or night or morning for Jagannath. So he said, I will be, for sure, I'll be awake till the very end. And for me, it has been kindling my interest in this area a little more, because I'm more meta level in understanding intelligence, wisdom, or knowledge. So this will really help me to grow within myself. I can see myself more awake at this point of time because some interest in my head has been triggered. I hope it's the same thing for everybody in this particular session. I particularly thank Dr. Afzal Ali Beg of AMSCE, and I think I saw Saumya of Alpha. I didn't get the list of names of principals who joined in, but then I saw some names that were familiar. I thank all the faculty members, the 74 faculty members who registered and who are part of this. I think we started with 262 people in participants in this particular session. And as it was dinner time, it went on to 282 to 252, and now it is 183. And I think it's time to close, and it was a great evening and night. I thank all my colleagues, particularly Chandrasekhar. I will be failing in my duty if I didn't say thank you to Chandrasekhar, Chandri as he is known to all of you, and A.L. Shekhar, who is a future speaker who is doing a dry run here, and my own colleagues, Arun Dev, who did a fabulous job in moderating the questions, and our chairman, P.V. Mohan, Palgat V. Mohan, Almelu ma'am, who is here watching me do her job of vote of thanks. I took your message, I took down notes, and then I read out from that. Thank you very much for all the support, and we'll meet you in the next Acquire or Aspire session. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Dear participants, we have posted the feedback and the quiz in the chat box. Please submit the feedback and the quiz.
Thank you all. Thank you all for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jaggi. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, Jaggi. Great session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jaggi. Beautiful. Nice.
Thanks, Jaggi.
Anu, great job. Vote of thanks. Well done.
I'm learning from my masters.
PVM, can we, PVM?
Yes.
Can we take the photo? It is for the speakers in the desk.
Speaker Peter.
Oh, he's gone. Oh, we're too late.
பாவம் அவரு காத்தால சாப்பாடு நம்மளுக்கெல்லாம் டின்னர் அவருக்கு மார்னிங்.
The speaker, Jaggi is there. Jaggi is there.
Yeah, call. We'll have.
Jaggi, are you there?
Ask him to join back.
I think Jaggi is there. I think
he went for a break. He took a bio break. Been here since 7:30. Didn't move from the chair.
No, I think he's gone. Should I call him?
No. It's fine, sir. I think
it's fine, I think. Huh?
It's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Good night. Good job. Well done. Bye.
Hey, thank you for the master of ceremonies, both Sneha and
Thank you so much, sir.
Did I miss them? Sorry, Sneha.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell first.
You told us. You told our names first, ma'am.
Yeah, I told. Yeah.
So Sneha, well done as an MC. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That means a lot.
Yeah.
So thank you, sir. Madam, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Gopalakrishnan. Thank you.
Gopalakrishnan sir, thank you very much. Thanks for sparing the time.
Pleasure in joining you, sir. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the session.
Obviously, sir. The
Thank
entire
you.
session. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good night, sir.
Good
Take
night.
care.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
It's for the participants. The feedback link has been posted in the chat box. We request you to fill it up so we can mark it as your attendance. We hope everyone is safe at home. So we'll make a chain to break this COVID chain. We'll get rid of